bring up Nicole Mangina from Bellevue, Heather Maddox from Renton, Steve Jones from Spokane, and Megan O'Brien from Mount Vernon. Keep things rolling along.
Good morning. Good. The Legends Not Legends panel. Some people were intimidated by being on the Legends panel, but these are all some serious legends. And you guys teed us up perfectly with your takeaways from yesterday, because our title is The Truth Behind the Trophy. And I think that's really been the theme of the last 2 days of this business is beautiful, right? I don't know if any of us, we all kind of fall into real estate. I don't know if there's many 5-year-olds out there going, when I grow up, I'm going to be a real estate agent. Y'all just kind of end up here and then you go, hey, this is actually a pretty good gig. And Erin set it up yesterday when she was talking about, when you're in the business the first 2-3 years, you are in startup mode and it's a lot and you got to give it your all. But then what happens after that? Right? And some of us forget that we're not in startup mode anymore. And the beauty of it is this business will give you anything you want, but you have to want it and you have to go create it and you have to do your version of it and it will support you, but you have to be brave enough to do that. And so that's kind of what we're going to talk about today is what does that look like? How do people set it up? And we set it up differently, with all of us. But again, how do you live a life, right? Because this will support your life in a beautiful way if you choose to do it. And when you're starting out or when you don't have business, that has its own challenges. But having business also has its own challenges because this is inherently a zero boundaries business. And we are our own worst enemies. So what does that look like? How do you have a life? I asked them all to send me something outside of real estate. So what is something fun that we could know? I need my glasses. And they'll introduce themselves. But Heather Maddox is out of Renton. You guys all heard from her yesterday. So she has a poker. She's a card shark. Who knew that Heather Maddox is a poker genius? Her dream job is to be a card dealer. Yeah, I love it.
Awesome.
So there you go. If you ever need gambling help, go to Heather.
We need to have like a winner poker.
And then we have Megan O'Brien out of Skagit. I love this because fellow mom, moms have lives before they have their kids, and Megan had a spicy one. Hers was, where are my notes here? Ooh, she once had dinner and drinks at the Playboy Mansion with Hugh Hefner.
Oh.
So there you go.
Wasn't a middle-aged lady.
And she won an all-expense-paid 7-day Caribbean cruise for her and 9 of her girlfriends from Good Morning America. How fun is that? And she ended up being on Como News and everything. I love it. Steve Jones is from Spokane. You have to be a very nice crowd because when I called Steve, I'm like, hey, Steve, will you do this panel? He's like, so here's the thing. I'm not a big public speaker and I have a heart condition. So if I get too nervous, I'll pass out. So if he passes out, it's on you. Be nice. Steve also has other hobbies. He restored a rusty old 1965 Chevelle. And now he has other people do the work because he's a super successful agent. But he sent me pictures of a gorgeous car. And in 2011, he bailed on real estate, packed his suitcase, and went to Honolulu with a one-way ticket. That sounds really nice.
Yeah, just hung it all up and
I love it.
packed 3 suitcases and said, let's figure it out.
Good gig. I think that's like my every other Tuesday. I want to do that. I'm Nicole Mangina. I'm out of the Bellevue Commons office, and it's so hilarious because we were just talking about this. I asked them all to come up with their own thing. I didn't think about coming up with mine, and now I got nothing.
I was just going to ask you, what's your thing? What's your...
So I did grow up, my dad, so here's my thing. And Brooks, you talked about being in the military. My dad was in the military. I grew up, I lived all over. I went to high school in Germany. And it was long enough before that he was with NATO and we went to Berlin. And like I went to East Berlin, we went through Checkpoint Charlie, demilitarized zone, all of that stuff. And because he was with NATO, we got to go into the control room. And I'm 16 years old at this time. And it's Russians in the control room running it. They're young GIs. I think there's a lot of like historical takeaways. My takeaway at 16 years old, Russians in uniform. Also hot. I think I was supposed to get something else out of that experience, but that was my takeaway, and it stuck with me for a very long time. So there you go. Now you know what I'm into. Here we go. So the truth behind the trophy. You guys all have very successful businesses. What do you contribute your current success to? We're going to talk a little bit about past success and your changes, but currently, what do you contribute your success to?
I'd say my past life, everything I did in the past kind of set me up to where I'm at today. So I don't think I'd change much of the past just because it set the foundation for where I'm at. I was also in an office that is insanely positive. I remember coming home from different businesses in the past and everything was so negative. And I would come home from the Windermere office once I got my license and everything was so insanely positive. And it was almost like, are they joking with me that it was so positive? And it just stayed that way. And it really changed my mindset. So
I love it. Megan, how about you?
I think I want to piggyback on that because I really do think that the office culture is part of the success. I think part of it is having been in the business for 2 decades and you have clients and repeat business and referrals and things like that. But our office culture is so positive and so helpful and so collaborative. And we have amazing staff who make us look like rock stars, even when we're, falling apart down the hall. But there's never a day when I don't look forward to going into the office. It's not like I come back from vacation. I'm like, I have to go to work tomorrow. I'm happy to go to work tomorrow and like being there and I like the people that I'm around. I think that is a huge part of the success. Like you said, your past life, you're layering it on. It's like this cake that you can't get this high unless you stack all those other layers below it. And then I have a business partner, and that I feel like has been another key to current success. It's there are 2 of us. It's 2 for the price of 1, and we can kind of double what we do.
I love that.
Yeah.
Heather.
I would say probably my consistency. Over my entire career, I've been extremely consistent when it comes to showing up. I am an office person. I work business hours. I'm in the office Monday through Friday pretty regularly, 8:30 to 5:30, unless I'm client facing. And I've always done that. But it started because I had a mentor who did that. I was a licensed assistant for 3 years when I first started, and my boss did that. He was in the office every single day, 8:30 to 5:30, and he expected us to be there alongside him. And I just really learned that routine. And I kind of just saw the way that he operated in that fashion. And so we've talked so much about like there being a million ways to do this, and there totally is. But my recipe is the only one I know. And that recipe includes, just showing up every day. And to me, that has really been the foundation of my whole business.
Yeah, showing up. It's amazing what happens when you show up. I remember when I first got into real estate, people were like, if you just answer the phone, you'll be successful. I'm like, really? It's kind of a thing. Showing up. And our community, Windermere is powerful. I was probably about 10 years ago, the president of the Women's Council of Realtors. And with that, you travel and you go to all the trade shows and you realize all of those booths are there to provide services that we have built within Windermere. And 29 years in, I've met with everybody, right? Every time there's a new gig in town, I go meet with another company, and every time I come back to Windermere. So it's a good gig. It's a good place to be. Like we talked about, again, when you don't have business, there's a struggle, but there is some stuff that comes with when you do have business. You've got to make some choices. You have to make adjustments. How are you going to do this business? I remember when I first got in, I didn't really know, how do you define success? And somebody told me your goal should be to sell a house every week. And I'm like, oh, that sounds good. Saying that out loud right now makes me want to take a nap. I actually love the ebbs and flows of my business, right? And I've built my business to run that way. There's times when I'm super busy and I want to come in and I want to just be like, let's go. And then there's times when I just want to blow this whole thing off and go play and party. And I have learned how to design my business that way with intention so that I don't freak out when I'm not selling real estate. But But again, other people, you're super consistent, and I love that about you. I super admire it. It makes me want to take a nap. But that's what it's all about. We get to set it up the way we want. So when things started working, kind of what were some of the, what are the challenges that you encountered? What did you go, okay, wait, I started doing it this way and it is working, but it's not working for my life, maybe outside of real estate. I think Erin, again, talked about that yesterday. If you start with your life first, you can design your business to support it, but it's easy to get stuck and my business is just going to take off and then I'll figure out what kind of life I can have with whatever space is left over.
That's how I did it.
Yeah.
The business took over, and then I just had to figure out how to life in between. And realistically now, we know in the summertime we don't vacation. It's just not possible. It's when business is busy. So we vacation in the wintertime, and we just know the ebbs and flows comes in those months. I've even tried focusing on maybe I can make December and January my busiest months, but it's just not realistic at the end of the day. So now we're like, okay, let's just go to Arizona or California in January, But of course, every time you book a trip, it's definitely going to be when you get busy. So, it is impossible sometimes, but.
I hear you. Megan, how do you do it?
Embrace the chaos, partly. When business started really being busy for me, my kids were still pretty small. They were like late grade school, early middle school. And that was when I was approached by another agent who wanted to partner, which I resisted really hard for a while, but he wore me down. And I'm so glad that he did, because we complement each other. He wasn't married at that point, didn't have kids. He wanted to take vacation when my kids were in school. He knew I wanted to take vacation when my kids were out of school. So adding that dimension to my business just really helped everything. It evened it all out for me. The business didn't run me anymore. I could do my vacations when I wanted to do my vacations. We could go in the summer because Spencer's there. And he takes September off and goes hunting, and my kids were in school. So, and now, years later, he's got little kids, and so I'm on call when he wants to be on vacation. But having a partner really helped. And then the ebbs and flows thing, I'm a little more like you. I like the quiet times in the business, and I would just encourage anybody who's fairly new and feels panicked when you don't have business, please don't feel panicked. It's going to come. Just relax and embrace it, and that is when you are working on cleaning up your database. If you're a big content person on social media, work on your content, do that kind of thing, and get ready for the next time that it's busy, so you've got plug and play material. You don't have to do it when you're really busy. It's ready to go.
And keep showing up.
Yeah. Keep showing up.
It's easy to hibernate.
Yeah. All the time. Like if you show up, you are going to win the day. Just by being there, you're beating 90% of the population. So just show up.
It's true.
Yeah.
Heather?
I think for me, as I started getting busier, the hard part was sort of figuring out what kind of support I needed in order to maintain that level and still be present at home or with my family. I was already running, a pretty steady business when I started having kids. And so that also brought its own challenges, because I was like, how am I going to be a mom and do what I'm doing? Because at that point in time, I was working 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. You want to see a house at 2 a.m., you got it, And so I had to sort of figure out, how do I do this at a high level and also be a mom at a high level? Mm-hmm. So kind of intertwining that, and then figuring out the support that I needed, looking at my own pain points. What am I good at? What am I not good at? What's eating time that someone else could do better? How can I outsource things, in all facets of my life? How can I outsource things at home to free up capacity at home? And so, I think that is just like an ongoing challenge for my whole career, is just as things grow, finding the right support and figuring out what the support is that I need. And then, and in addition to that, learning how and when and where to set boundaries. And now I'm very good at my boundaries. If anyone ever talks to me, I love to talk about my boundaries, but that took a long time.
It's a process,
yeah.
Right? And for me, I always have to blow past them and then go, oh, yeah, too far. Yeah. And I think, a lot of this conversation the last 2 days has been about longevity in the business, and you can't get to longevity without recalibrating and reinventing. It's just part of it. right? Again,
And
you go,
without boundaries.
yeah, and without boundaries.
Boundaries are just so important, and setting that expectation up front with your clients.
100%.
Yeah, even my voicemail, it tells you right in my voicemail when I'm going to be available to answer your phone call or return your call and when I'm not. And just set that expectation up
And
front.
they're usually thrilled. They're fine. They have no issues honoring your boundaries
I get
if you put
people
them out
all
there.
the time saying, I love that you don't answer the phone on Sunday. Yeah.
Perfect.
I think also, our clients only buy and sell a house like every 5, 10, 15 years, but we let them tell us how we're going to do it. Right. And instead we need to teach them, no, I don't answer the phone at 9:00 at night, or I do take Sundays off, and they will honor it. They will, respect your wishes. I remember when I had my oldest daughter, I really wanted to take Wednesday off. Like, I'm picking Wednesday, the middle of the week, because I would want a day off with my new baby. And I'm like, my business is going to crumble. Like, I don't even know how I'm going to do this. Like, be prepared for this to be my last year in real estate because I'm taking Wednesday off. And, and I very quickly, everyone is like texting me, like you said, oh my gosh, I know it's Wednesday. Don't get back to me till tomorrow. I just need to, dump this out of my brain, sending me text messages. And I realized, okay, they don't care. They just need to know the plan. And so that was my first boundary. And I just started layering them on, as I needed them. And now I just realized I teach them how we're going to do this, and they are very open to it. And, when someone isn't open to it, I know that's not my ideal client. There's somebody out there for them that can honor whatever schedule they need, but this is the schedule that I really need.
Yeah, we're leaders. We're leading our clients through the process. You both talked about support. You have your partner and you have your team. I know for me, I have a whole host of contractors. I actually don't do enough business right now to need a full-time person. And I have found that I just really love the contractor route. So I have a big list of people that I reach out to for whatever it is I need, staging, marketing, what have you. And I love it that way. Steve, do you have people that support you in your business?
Yeah, I've got a licensed agent that, she's our assistant. Kim Hines is my other half in our office. She's an agent. She does North Idaho, both Bonner and Kootenai County for us. And then we both do the Spokane side as well. We have a licensed agent that is our assistant in the background. And she's a rock star. She's absolutely phenomenal. For any of you guys that know Samantha Dallas, she's super great, and she really keeps us in check on where we're at and daily. And then I also have, it sounds really conceited, but I have a driver. So somebody drives me around.
Love this.
Yes, it's great. So I learned that I was working until 9, 10 o'clock every night. Now I've got somebody that drives me around. He's a good friend of mine, and he'll install water heater straps, check batteries and smoke alarms, all that little stuff for me as we go, and then just run errands in general. And that usually takes 3 to 4 hours out of my day. So I can be texting while I'm driving and yada, yada, yada. So I can focus on business while he's driving. So, as dumb as that sounds, the driver's worked out great for me. So,
Brilliant.
Life goals.
That's genius. That's the ultimate outsource. Is now you're working in the car. That's genius.
it's like the Lincoln lawyer.
I like it.
I love this. See?
There's your takeaway. That's your nugget.
I know.
Get a driver.
Peace out. How has your definition of success changed? What is your definition of success, and how has it changed? Again, in the beginning, mine was let's just sell a house. And now my definition of success is, do I have the money and the time I travel is one of my love languages, go watch my boys play baseball, invest and do the things that I want to do and spend time with the people that I love. My business 100% fuels my life now but it wasn't always that way. So what is your definition of success now? And is it different than when you got in the business?
My definition of success, I think it's the main definition has always stayed the same, to the ultimate goal to be to work when I want to, not because I have to. So I think that goal has stayed there. I think when I initially started in real estate, my goal was to make $100,000 a year. And then that goal grew and grew and grew and grew. And then once we hit this really big peak and it fell, we had a catastrophic loss. We turned the other direction, and it was what do we really need in life? And so our goal has really changed to let's get our wake up money set to where we can live off of our wake up money, and then we work when we want to after that. And that's kind of the new goal. So
I love that.
Wake up money. Yeah.
Yes. Big fan.
So this was my favorite question of the questions that you sent us because my definition of success has changed so radically. I came from retail, but not just any retail, book retail. And if anybody knows anything about books, it's that you don't make money there at all. So when I started real estate, my only goal was to make more than I had made doing book sales, which was so easy. I was like, I was a little worried, but like the first year I was like, oh, guess I didn't need to worry about that. So initially all I wanted was to make a little bit of money and not sound like an idiot when I was talking about real estate. And the showing up part helped with the not sounding like an idiot, but very quickly it became obvious that I was going to make a little bit of money. Now my definition of success is that the money gives you options, and I don't want my business to run me. I want to work when I want to work. I want to outsource what I can outsource, looking for a driver. I want to be able to travel. I look at your travel pictures and I love that you do the kind of travel that you do and aspire to that with my kids who are getting older and in college. I have to keep working because I send all my money to Pullman. But my definition of success now is simply to do a good job for the people that trust me with these decisions in their life and to make enough money to just bankroll the things I want to do. Send my kids to college, go on vacation, remodel my house or, buy a rental, those kind of things. My definition of success has changed radically.
I love that.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, kind of echoing everybody here, but when I first started, my definition of success was like, I want to sell some houses. Let's do this. And I had a goal for a long time of like, I want to sell one house every month. I want to sell 12 houses in a year. And that seemed big in the beginning of like, oh my gosh, can I even do this? And so when you do that, then you want to do more. And so that sort of kept growing. And actually yesterday when Erin was talking about, what did she call it? Like toxic overachieving or something? That like really resonated with me in the beginning of this career where it was like, what are we going for? Like, right? Like we're just kind of going for it. And so I think in the last probably 5 years, that success definition has changed so much for me, where now it's like, I find success in having boundaries, but also being able to run this high level business where I'm putting together a presentation for something else. And in doing that, I had to look back at my last couple of years and like how many vacations I take and things like that. And for me, in order to really get away from the business and take time off, I need to like go away. I need to be on vacation. And so I was able to look that in 2024, I was away. I was on vacation 81 days. Like that felt insane to me. I spent 3 weeks at our house in Seabrook and, really present with my kids. That feels like, a huge success. My husband was able to quit his job last December and he's like home with our kids and coaching the flag football and I'm coaching softball. And it's like, I'm able to live a big life and run a big business simultaneously because of all of these systems and practices and, things that I put in place. And that makes me feel super proud of what I've done.
I love it.
Yeah.
And that you're so intentional about how you do it. And you mentioned in one of your social media posts after your European trip this year that I loved, that you're being away. And I think to a degree, this does the same. You've got to come out and take that 30,000 foot view of your business. Is it running correctly? Or are there adjustments you want to make? And are you running the business you want to run? Because again, the business you started running might not be the business that you want to run right now. And the beauty is you can morph it and adjust it anytime you want, but you need to be able to step back and take that view and have that space to go, okay, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, kind of thing. With that kind of leads into our next question of you could go back and either do something a little different, maybe at some point in your business, or if for the agents out there that are like 3 to 5 years in, I remember when I got my license, they're like, it takes 3 years to get going. And I thought, well, I'm an overachiever, so that's for everybody else. Yep, sure enough, 3 years. It takes a little bit to get it rolling. For those agents, what would you tell them? If you could do something differently, or if there was something you wish somebody had told you then that would have made the difference?
I think some of it would be get get the noise out of your head. Like everybody's going to have an opinion, everybody on how you should do the business. And I remember, even though I was in a very positive office, I had a lot of people that said, like, my first year, my goal was to sell 24 houses, came from the car business. If everybody didn't sell 12 cars a month, they were fired, on to the next. So in this business, I was like, well, two a month should be pretty easy. So I set my goal my first year, 24 houses, and I crushed that goal the first year. And I remember the next year I said I wanted to double that. And I remember one of the managing brokers, she told me, she's like, well, we should really set a realistic goal. and then that second year I hit 49 houses and it was a solid year. And I've really maintained that 50 to 70 from there. So I would really say, like, sometimes don't let the noise get in your head. Like, I set those goals and I achieved it because I did the gratitudes, the affirmations, did what I was supposed to do, stayed focused. And I accomplished those goals. So just because everybody around you thinks you can't hit 48 houses in a year, I did it my second year. You can too. So
Stories we tell ourselves.
Yeah.
I love it.
yeah,
All right.
I just didn't know any better.
Officially my hero. Megan, how about so what do you have to say?
I want to know why I'm up here with him. Who said no that I'm up here? That's what I want to know.
You are 100% worthy of being up here.
If I could go back and do things differently, I started right before the mortgage meltdown crisis. If I could go back, I would buy houses during the mortgage meltdown crisis. And then I would also have bought houses or duplexes or things like that when mortgage rates were at 2% and 3%. That's what I would do differently. More of them. I guess I did buy some, but I would buy more. And if I could talk to new agents, what I would say is stick with it. It's not an easy career, but it's a very rewarding and fantastic and empowering career. And it just sometimes takes a little bit of time to get going, unless you're doing this, which is great. But not everybody can do that. Not everybody is in a market where there are that many houses to sell in a year. Skagit County, there were years where that was about the total number of houses that were being sold in a year. So if you got one, you were lucky, but yeah. I think the showing up thing, I always tell younger agents, show up and listen. Like, you cannot get a better education than just being in your office and listening to all the brokers who are there.
Like showing up in real life, not on Zoom.
Right. Yeah,
Right.
I'm just saying.
You're not a little
It's
box on the
helpful.
screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, my kids were tiny when I started. I had a newborn and a 2-year-old, not quite 2-year-old. And just being in the office, that was where the education happened. Listening to other people's conversations. I wasn't doing the business, they were, and I was learning how to do it. Just by a show of hands, how many of you are like 5 years or less? A lot of you. So yeah,
Nice.
you can do this and you're in the right place. I mean, Windermere is going to support you. Pick an agent in your office that you admire or who does a lot of business and ask if you can just sit in and listen. They're more than likely going to say yes to you. We do that all the time with new agents. We constantly have new agents in our offices asking us questions. Elizabeth Miller's office is right next door to mine, and we are visited on the regular by newer agents who come in and run things by us, and we're so happy to help. I think just that showing up, being intentional about what you want to create, setting goals is important, but giving yourself the grace to maybe fall a little short, 49 instead of 50. That's okay. You reached. Ninja taught us to be audacious, right? I don't know how many of you new show of hands. This is the audience participation part. Who's taken Ninja from the OG ninjas? Who's taken Ninja from the group? Keep your hand up if you took Ninja from the group in Honolulu, Hawaii. There's one in the back.
Oh, right here.
All right.
Done it.
There we go. There's there's more back here. Yay. All right. So that was like the best Ninja ever because we were in Hawaii and it was the OGs. But the whole concept there was much less setting systems and much more mindset, and which is what I really, really love about Nicole is the mindset part of Ninja. Pick your focus. What you focus on expands. Focus on what you want, not on what you don't want, and really work for that. If that's financial independence, if that's paying off your mortgage, if that's getting it so your husband can retire, those kind of things. Pick those things, put it on your dream board, really look at it, and write down your goals every year so you have something that you're really, really focused on.
I love that. Yeah.
I would just say that, I mean, you're already like a step ahead by even being in this room, but networking, getting to know your fellow agent, there's so much value in it. I just had something and now I completely lost it, but it'll come to me in a minute. But, I think that, you know, if I were to do it again, I would have probably started some systems earlier, you know, when you've written the same email 3, 4, 5, 6 times, just time to copy and paste it, put it in a note, and have it. And, you know, be really as proactive as you can in your business. Try to anticipate what your clients may be asking you. You know, like most companies out there are studying their customer. They're looking at their product and seeing, is my product user friendly? Is my customer experience good? You know, all of those things. You should be evaluating your product. You know, would you want to be your own client? Would you want to, you know, go through the process in the way that you operate? And if not, make some changes. Look at that. Make sure that your business is user friendly, enjoyable, and something you'd want to come back to.
I love it. Questions from the audience. How do you define wake up money? You've talked about wake up money. For me, it's my rentals.
Yeah, rentals, letting your money. Yeah, you wake up in the morning and money's deposited in your bank account by you doing it. Next to absolutely nothing, that's your wake up money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Money that you earn without having to get out of bed in the morning.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this group is great for that. Like a perfect example, I'm in Bellevue, Washington. I have several rentals, none of which are anywhere close to me, but I have leveraged the Windermere network and I buy in other areas of the state where the numbers work better. And I have a phenomenal team and I just keep buying because I've got the best agent and the best property manager. We pay them full boat. And they do really well for us and they're both with Windermere. So, that's the definition of wake up money. One of the other questions. What one system made the biggest impact on your business? Awesome question. I'm looking right at you.
Oh my gosh. I don't know.
Okay, I'll punt to Heather and come back to you.
It might be closed though. I mean,
yeah.
which is really recent, but I really feel like,
What do you love about it?
I love seeing when people open their emails and I love the things that just go out automatically.
Phil's our
And
inner
I'm not doing it.
stalker.
But so seriously, I'm a little bit of a stalker on that. I'm not going to tell the other agents who aren't using Close that I know when they've opened up my offer or whatever, but I love knowing that. And I love knowing that I still haven't heard from you the next morning when, you know, we sent you our 35R or whatever. So
I love it. Steve, how about you? What's your best system?
Oh, my assistant by far. She's by far my best assistant. I mean, I don't use Close. She uses Close. So I'm sure she loves it. I don't even know my login.
Best answer ever. I don't know, but I'm sure I have someone that they're amazing because I self-driver mine. What's your?
For me, I would say that, I call them the what to expect emails, but we have a series of emails that we call what to expect. So if we get hired by a seller, they immediately get what to expect once you've hired us. Same with a buyer, what to expect when you're pending, what to expect when your house goes on the market, what to expect for your appraisal. And they're all just pre-written. There's very little customization that has to go into it, but it answers the questions before they have the questions. And they're constantly evolving. You know, if I start getting new questions about something, it's like, okay, we need to add to the what to expect email. And so that system has alleviated a lot of, you know, just kind of like all those little text emails and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I would say that's mine too.
that.
Like that. Here's the plan. I love a good bullet pointed email. With some bold in there, focus here, bullet point that. It takes care of a lot of things. Last question. How did you know when you were ready to hire someone and who was the first person you hired or the first thing you outsourced? Like you kind of talked about it, Heather, of, you know, we all have things we're inherently good at and things either we're not good at or they just drain us. Like details actually, although I think they're super important, drain me. So I, again, have people that I can outsource to. Marketing drains me. Like I look at your marketing, I'm like, oh, so cool. I'm going to be like Heather. I open Canva and again, need another nap. So I outsource all of my stuff. So anyway, that's a really long kind of convoluted question. what's your weak spot? What's the biggest thing you outsource, I would say, or the first thing you outsourced?
That took a few years. No, I hired an assistant year 2, and then I kept running into the wall of, well, there's not enough work for him to be there 40 hours a week. Then I couldn't keep him full time. Then they wanted to go find another job. So we bounced through that for a little while. And then they all felt like they could be me. I guess I made it look pretty easy. So they all ended up getting licensed, which was like having a licensed assistant was nice. But then they just wanted to go sell real estate. So I kept dealing with that battle. I dealt with that battle 3 different times. And then finally I was like, I'm just going to hire somebody that is an agent, and decided they don't actually want to be an agent. So I think that was my probably biggest battle of learning lessons. So, and then we just don't pay her hourly. She's used to the agent hours. So she works whenever we need her, 7 days a week, and we pay her just a percentage of what we do instead of an hourly rate. So
I love that. Megan?
Mine's going to be a little different because we don't actually have an assistant. We tried an assistant, part-time assistant for a while, and felt like we were spending all of our time training that person or explaining what we wanted with that person. So for Spencer and I, we kind of divvy up the tasks. There are tasks that he excels at that I don't really care to do, and there are things that I like doing that he hates, like marketing remarks and anything that has to do with writing those emails, setting up those templates for the emails to explain what the next steps are or the time frames in a contract. That's my job, and he does the things that he does. I think that the places where we hire things out, property management, 100% pay full rip, get a good Windermere property manager. Absolutely. And then staging for large houses where we can't handle it on our own. We do have a small amount of staging. We can do about a 1,500 to 1,700 square foot house, like not more than 3 bedrooms. We can handle that on our own and do. And we will hire muscle if we need to hire muscle for that. But yeah, mostly it's divide and conquer for us. And then again, we're in a fantastic office where we have a marketing coordinator who does marketing things for us, and we don't have to do anything except click the little box that says, yes, I want you to send that. Yes, I want you to send that. Yes, I want you to post that. Do we hire that on our own? No, but our office provides that. So lovely.
Yeah. I love that.
For me, it was, so this may be surprising. I don't know. I love marketing and I have lots of ideas, but I cannot implement it. Is like Pinterest fail big time. So I needed a creative person on my team. And my other pain point is database management. It was kind of a mess. I needed somebody who was going to be managing the database, putting the names where they go, updating the addresses. So I sort of needed someone to do both of those things. So my first hire was a super creative person who also would work in the office and do assistant stuff with the management of the databases. And I've always had a creative assistant on my team because I have lots of ideas. I love to brainstorm about marketing and stuff, but I cannot put it into action. So I need that person who can really make things look pretty and kind of take my ideas and make them happen.
That makes me feel so much better.
I also don't know how to use Canva. I made those slides yesterday. I was very proud of myself because my creative person's in Korea for like 18 days. So,
well, you did great.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, for the new agents out there, I remember when I was new, I held everybody else's open houses, right? Now I have other people hold because I actually while open houses were great for me, I don't like them anymore. And so, spoiler alert, I get zero business out of them because my attitude sucks when I'm there. So now I let other people do it and they totally crush it. And it's great. It's definitely me. It's not the open houses. So I have, new agents show for me. Cause again, I'm a baseball mom. And so when I meet my buyers, I'm like, here's the thing. Monday through Thursday, I show you. Friday through Sunday, you get my business partner, who is always somebody to be named later, depending on where the house is, right? But I hire new agents to do that, and it's great because they get experience doing that. And I showed up when I was new, and I would take, again, 29 years in the business, your $70,000 condo buyer that really experienced agents, it was like not worth their time. And I took that thing and paid a referral fee, and I was thrilled because it was a client and it just got me in front of people and it generated some momentum. And so the showing up piece, but I wouldn't have gotten that if I hadn't shown up.
Yeah.
So, Thank you, legends, for sharing. Oh, you are a legend. And thank you for being nice. Steve did not pass out.
Very good.
I love it. All right. Thanks, you guys.
Nicole Mangina, Heather Maddox, Steve Jones, and Megan O'Brien.